Good morning. I'm Andrea with Happy Cloud Creations, and I'm jumping on today on Instagram and Facebook because it is week 6 of the Rainier Echoes Quilt Along. So, if you guys have any questions about this week's block, we're doing block 3, and we're making 4 of block 3. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Oh, it's upside down. There we go. Rainier's Echoes. Rainier Echoes Quilt Along. So last week we made 4 of block 2, and the previous week we made 1 block of block 1, and this week we're making 4 of block 3. Make sure I'm in the right spots. Hi, Linda. Glad you guys could join. Hello, Sue. So, let's see. Block 3 starts on page 9 of the pattern. Over there. I was having a little trouble with Chrome browser. It wasn't wanting me to use it for the live video. So that's why I'm on a few minutes late. Sorry about that. So this block is pretty simple. Consistent seams is our main goal with this whole quilt, since we're doing 3 different size blocks, different size pieces in each blocks. We want consistent seams throughout. A scant 1/4 inch seam is recommended for everything to line up and be perfectly like a puzzle. So the first thing we're going to do in step 1 is we're going to take 2 of the CD flying geese that we made previously, and we're going to want to sew these together point to point. And the best way to do that is, I like to take a pin and I put it right through the top of the point and make sure it lines up through the top of the other point, since we're doing point to point. And once I get that to line up and I put my pins along the way, I pin it up here so that when my needle goes over this really bulky area, it's not going to hit the pin. And you want to make sure when you're going over bulky areas like that, you're going to want to slow down so that you don't mess it up. Hello, Dory. Hello, Carol. Sorry, people are texting me. Sorry about that. So that when you open these up, I already pre-sewed it. These points are gonna line perfectly up. You can either set your seam with your iron, finger press it open, and press it to either side. I actually, with this one, I pressed it open so that when you're going to quilt it, you'll have less bulk right through here. So when I press the seam open, I just take it to my iron and I kind of pry it open with my fingers is the best way I know to do it. Press it open with my fingers kind of, and then do the iron. And then once I've got it pretty much all the way open on the back, I'll take it around and I will iron it again on the front, just so that you know it's super duper flat. Hi, Kathy. What type of sewing machine do you use? I'm looking to purchase one. Julie, I have a Janome. It's a heavy duty machine. The reason I purchased that one is because when I bought it, I was making a lot of pot holders, which have several layers of fabric. If I end up buying another, sorry, my phone notifications. If I buy another one, I will probably get a quilting Janome, or there's a really nice Juki that does really good straight seams, but I'll probably go with the Janome because Janomes have other features that I like, and I really like my Janome. I bought it maybe a couple years ago, I think 2 years ago maybe. So Once you got this all ironed, you're going to set that aside. Well, actually, you're not going to set it aside. You're going to lay all your pieces out as shown in step 2. I like to do that just so I make sure that everything's in the right spot, have the right colors going the right way. And if you're using a directional print, this is where you're going to want to be like, okay, one of my blocks, my directions need to go this way, this way, this way, all the way around, because this block is going to be flipped all the way around the quilt. So, for example, this one that I haven't finished constructing, if you see, the little mountains are going to the left. So I made sure one of them had all of the mountains going to the right, all the mountains going upward, and all the mountains going downward. So when I put the quilt together, I'll have all the mountains facing upwards. I don't know if they're mountains, but little scallops, I guess. So you're going to want to make sure they all go the same way. So these are all going the same way when I sew them together. So what I like to do is I sew the sections into strips, and typically I will just like pin them on both sides, sew all the left side, and then cut the string, and then sew all the right sides, so that I can just chain piece them and get it done a lot quicker. I like to make all the blocks at the same time. Some people like to only do one block at a time, but I find making a quilt, it goes a lot faster if you do all the blocks at the same time. So I'll lay out one block, pin up where I want to sew it, set that block aside, then I'll lay the second block out, okay? Pin it up, lay it to the side. Do that with all 4 of them. That way I can go to the machine and just have a ton of seams that I can sew together. And I lay my little pressing instructions on my ironing board so that I can be like, okay, I need to iron the top row inward. I need to iron the second row outward. That way, once I go to sew all these rows together, they're going to fit together perfectly, and they're going to nest. All the seams will nest. So when I went to sew this one together, you're going to nest these seams. I like to pin these 2 first, and then I pin throughout. And when you go over these seams, you're going to want to go slowly around the bulky areas, and then you're going to want your seam to hit right under that triangle on the half square triangle, and then right under this, right above this triangle on the flying geese. So you know when you open it up, you're not cutting off those points. When you iron it, that's going to look straight, and that little triangle's not going to be cut off. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you guys have any questions. So we took our sections, and I like to just pin 2 sections at a time, sew them together. So I have that one pinned, sewn together, and then I did this section too, pinned and sewn together. And then I go and I pin these 2 together and sew them together. So this is a big block. I'm doing the large throw. So once I have those all sewn together, this is what the back looks like. That's the only seam I pressed open. All the other ones, I used the pressing instructions on the pattern, just so that, like, it's basically to the less bulk. So this one, since this is a little bulky on that side, I pressed it to this flatter area. Same with these. I pressed these up because it was less bulk that way. And so then we have this size unit. It's not done yet. On Instagram too, I'll show you guys. I know it's kind of like a weird looking block, but that's because you add it to the other blocks and then you get this overall design. So you take this block and you're going to sew 2 strips on each side. And so I do that too. I pin it to both sides, and when you're laying your fabric down on here, I like to pin it because if you don't, sometimes one fabric will stretch more than the other, and then you'll come to the end and you're like, oh, why is that one sticking out way further than the other? So I like to just lay my block down and put the strips on it and gently smooth them both out, And then I put pins at each seam and then in between each seam, since this is a very large block. And then, of course, press your seam, finger press it open. Set your seam once it's open. Finger press the seam open, and then I like to press it down. And then here's my final block for this week. I don't have all 4 done yet because I wanted to show you the steps. It is a very big block, but I'm really, really, really excited to sew all my blocks together. I'll finish up sewing these hopefully the next couple days. With this at-home schooling, it keeps me a lot busier than it used to, but that's fine. It's nice to have the kids home and be able to see them so much. Do you guys have any questions with this block? I think it's pretty straightforward. You guys are really awesome quilters, so you guys don't seem to have a lot of questions this quilt along, which is not bad. So next week, I'll talk about the giveaways. This week, Rose, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, Punchi, won this week's giveaway, which was a fat quarter bundle of Amy Reber's gorgeous Ivory Woods collection. It's her new collection, and she generously donated a bundle of fabric, and so Rose is going to get that in the mail. Next week, week 6 giveaway is the Prairie Tracks PDF pattern from Cotton and Joy. She has a lot of gorgeous patterns. Go check her out. She actually is local to Washington as well. I know Amy, last week's giveaway winner, she's local to Washington, and Fran from Cotton and Joy lives in Washington too, so that's pretty cool. So you can enter to win that giveaway by posting a photo of your completed quilt top, completed your 4 blocks. 4 of these blocks. If you only take a picture of one, but you let me know you've finished all 4, that may be okay, but it would be nice to see all 4. I know it might be hard, like it's raining right now, so I'm gonna have to wait till a dry day and I get them all 4 done, and I'll probably take that picture out in the grass like I did last time, just because they're huge and I have nowhere in my house. Maybe if I move my coffee table, I could take it in the living room. I don't know. We'll see. Take a picture of all 4 of your blocks. Let me know you finished all 4 of them, either in the Quilt Along group or on Instagram with the hashtag Rainier Echoes QAL. But if you post on Instagram and on Facebook, you get 2 entries. So make sure to post on both. If you have an Instagram and it's public, post on there too, and then I'll see it and you'll get double entries. So that'll be cool to win that prize. I really love all her patterns, so you should go check her out. And then next week we will be doing the quilt top, and I kind of separated the quilt top out from the finishing of the quilt, which the finishing of the quilt is basting, quilting, and binding, just so people have a chance to catch up and finish all their blocks and finish their quilt top. That way everybody's on the same page next week, and everybody will be ready for the finishing instructions on the following week. So I'm really excited. I hope you guys are having fun making this quilt. I love seeing all of your photos. It's cool to see the design in different types of fabrics and things that I would never even think to make them in, you know. So it's going to be cool to see all the finished tops. Not next week, basically. Not this week, next week. So yeah, we only got 3 more weeks of the quilt along, and then we'll have finished quilts that we can snuggle under or gift to people. Yeah, so I'm super excited. I will be on here next Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time to answer any questions about sewing these blocks together. If you're wondering about squaring them up since they're so large, I would recommend only like going on the edges with your large 6 by 24 inch ruler and making sure nothing is jetting out, or you can even put it toward the corner and make sure the corners are square. Since they're such large sections, it's kind of like you made little blocks in this one block, and you're sewing those little blocks to another block. So you're going to want to kind of just make sure it's square, and then I'll talk about it next week about what I do when I'm putting large blocks together. If there's no questions, I think I'm going to go feed my kids some lunch. Love your blocks. Thank you, Kathy. I'm glad you like them. I'm so glad so many people were able to jump on today and say hi to me. I will be saving this video and posting it on my YouTube for later viewing, and it will also be saved to the Facebook group, and it will be on Instagram for 24 hours. So if you have any questions in the meantime, before next week, you can email me at happycloudcreations@gmail.com, or you can send me a private message on Facebook or on Instagram. And I will talk to you guys next Wednesday. Have a great day.